Hello, friends and fellow neighbors, and welcome back to another edition of Live Like Fred. And today I am pleased to be joined by two lovely ladies from Lasagna Love. We have Kelly Andolina and Megan Gotimer, who are joining us from this wonderful organization that actually started during the pandemic. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having us.
All right, so let's get started. So how did Lasagna Love get started? Can I maybe one of you maybe answer that for our viewers?
Sure. Lasagna Love started by Rhiannon Men out in San Diego. She was looking for, just a way to give back a little bit during the pandemic last year. And she had reached out to some of her neighbors saying, hey, I have, a couple extra pans of lasagna. Does anybody need something? And got a really great response. And in addition to getting response of people needing help, she also found a lot of people who also wanted to contribute and to find ways to give back to their community during this pandemic that's been going on. And from there, it kind of continued to grow. And over the span of a couple months, there were a few volunteers across the country, and it's just continued to grow ever since.
And now we actually have 18,000 volunteers who deliver on average about 4,000 meals a week. So it's really grown in almost a year.
Yeah, wow. And so could you two maybe explain like what your titles are with Lasagna Love?
Go ahead, Megan. I'm like, we're both.
Sorry. So I'm a regional director of Lasagna Love. So I manage part of the Mid-Atlantic region. And what goes into that is managing our local regional leaders in the different states and support them in supporting the volunteers, the lasagna mamas and papas and chefs that we have that make and deliver the meals.
Kelly, what about you?
And I am the regional director, and I'm actually the regional director for Pennsylvania. Go Pennsylvania. And basically the same thing. We manage all the regional leaders and the lasagna chefs in our respective areas.
How did both of you get involved with this movement, knowing that like it only started like what, a year ago?
Last March.
Last March. I started with Lasagna Love last September as a volunteer. I was the first volunteer in Raleigh, North Carolina. So I sort of by de facto ended up becoming a regional leader as I found other volunteers to join. And then, I had really started because I had just moved to the area, and it's really hard to learn about your community and get involved during a pandemic when there's stay-at-home orders. So I was trying to figure out a way to feel more connected to my new home, and this was sort of an easy way to do that. And I went from being by myself, the only volunteer in Raleigh, to having over 200 volunteers just in the city, and then moving into a director position in October and helping grow the Mid-Atlantic region. It's, I figured out a way to get involved during a pandemic and a way to give back at the same time.
Kelly, what about you?
And I actually I got involved back in September of 2020, and I was watching the Today Show, and lo and behold, they had this wonderful segment on with Rihanna, and I signed up right then and there. I was actually the first one in this upstate New York area, and grew it into, I think we have 80 volunteers in this area right now in upstate New York. But then I moved into the regional director position just recently, probably within the last month or so, and then started working with all the lovely folks in Pennsylvania.